Hello and welcome. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Megan Moeller, a productivity enthusiast here at ActivTrak and your tour guide of sorts for today. While we wait for others to join, I did want to cover a few housekeeping things, but before we dive into that, I did want to share something special with you. I did want to let you know that we do have another live session this Friday at 11 a.m. Central Time. It's a little bit different. It's an ActivTrak 101 on top configuration tips to get started or to revisit your setup. Don't let the name fool you. This is a great session to cover any configuration needs that you might have. To make sure that all of your reports and dashboards are accurate. So if you're new, you should come to it. If you've been with us for a while, come to it. Make sure that everything is configured correctly. Maybe how things were when you started with us, things have maybe changed, right? So, or if you have just any other configuration questions, we will have a live team on to answer those types of questions. And so I welcome you to sign up for that. If you look in the bottom in the resources section, you'll see that link along there. And with that in mind, I'm actually going to go ahead and just kind of go into what our dashboard looks like today. So if you're looking at everything, I just want to kind of give you a little bit of orienting towards our dashboard for the webinar. So if you look at the dashboard in thirds, on the left side, there's a left side, a middle section, and a right one. Starting in the top left, that's where you can see speakers. So right now, you should see me there. Immediately below that, we have a question box where you can submit questions, or if you just want to chat in, put comments in, I'll be here the whole time looking at those and making sure that if they're just sort of one-off questions, I'll answer those. And if they're broader questions, we'll save those for the end. And if you just want to have comments about, wow, this is great content, or oh my gosh, I didn't know that, or this is not what I was expecting, put them all in. I welcome all of them. In the middle section, you'll see slides at the top with the content for today. And then below that, you'll see two modules, one with related resources. That's where you'll see that ActivTrak 101 session, any KB articles that can help you with setting anything up. Although we are going to demo everything, but it's always good to have a good handy reference as well. And then you can also contact us. So if you want us to follow up with you or reach us, you can just do that right from the console. And we will go ahead and get back to you as soon as possible. And then on the right, you can get to know our speakers a little bit better in the top right. And then in the bottom right, you can let us know if you want to, us to follow up with you and continue the conversation. Also, along the bottom, you'll see some emoji reactions that you can share with us to let us know what you're liking with a thumbs up. And if maybe you don't like something as much, give us a thumbs down. We want feedback. We want to know what y'all are interested in. And, I'll be paying attention to that for sure. The other thing to note is that you can make any of the modules or boxes bigger by dragging on the perimeter. You can drag it to make it bigger or smaller. And that kind of covers our dashboard overview. I hope that's easy enough. Two other housekeeping items I did want to mention. We've already gotten a question about this. Are we recording the session? Yes, absolutely we are. We're recording it, and we will send it along with the slides and all the resources out to you no later than tomorrow. And with that, I'd like to turn to today's session. Welcome to Unlock Deeper Insights, How to Use ActivTrak with BI Tools. I'd like to invite our VP of Customer Solutions, Vic Obando, and our Senior Sales Engineer, Leah Ivory, on to join me. They'll take you through today's content. And remember, feel free to ask any questions in the bottom left and share if you are liking or not liking the content we're sharing by clicking on the thumbs up and thumbs down emojis throughout the session. Take it away, Vic.
Thank you, Megan. Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us in today's session. As Megan mentioned, today we're going to talk about the power of ActivTrak data through business intelligence solutions, how BI solutions can help you better visualize your data, identify trends, and ultimately help you make smarter decisions. During this session, we will cover a few items. So let's switch to our agenda today. And we'll see a quick overview of how the pieces of our platform that makes this all possible. We'll talk about the value of ActivTrak in BI when it comes to visualizing and acting on your data. And Leah will walk you through a live demo of our top 3 most used BI dashboards so you can see it all in action. But before we dive in, we want to get a better sense of how familiar you are with our BI capabilities. So we're going to kick things off a little bit with the short poll. So please take a moment to respond. This will help us tailor the discussion as we go through the session today. And we'll wait a few minutes here for everyone to chime in.
While everyone is taking that poll, Vic, I did have a real quick question because I know that we've had questions in the past. And obviously this is a different audience, but around what a BI like solution actually is. What does that stand for? What kind of tools are we talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Megan. So BI stands for Business Intelligence Solution. Think about it as the ability to really bring data together and through visualization tools. So visualize that data, provide trend analysis, and a lot of the dashboarding and reporting that you can develop through these business intelligence tools.
Awesome. And that can be through things like Tableau or Power BI, or even as something as I say simple with respect as it like Excel, right?
That is correct. So Tableau, Power BI, Looker Studio are some of the most popular BI solutions, business intelligence solutions out there. But we'll go through some of that today. You'll see that the power of the data is, or data is so portable that you can load it. You don't have to put this into a BI tool. You can load it into tools like Excel and get exactly the reports you're looking for.
Awesome. Okay. And then I think we've got, let's see, looks like we've got another question up here for people to go ahead and let us know a little bit more about that. On one, we just wanted to know if you were aware of it. And on this one, we want to actually know, are you using these things? So we'll give you a second just to, let us know where you're at on that. And then we will dive into the content. But one thing I will always say about our audience is they're awesome at participating in these and giving us feedback. So thank you to everyone. I see you responding. Thank you so much. That's great. We'll give you just another few seconds.
Wonderful.
Okay. All right. We're going to go ahead and close this one out. Okay. So it looks like, a good chunk of the audience didn't know about either of them. And then there's, some that knew about ActivConnect, and about the same amount, 17% that knew about both.
That's great. I think we got a really good mix. Fantastic for the content that Leah has prepared for us today. So Leah, with that, take it away.
Excellent. Thank you, Vic. And then, the second piece looks like folks also don't use either ActivConnect or BI for the most part, but we have some of y'all using both, which is great. Some that looks like you leverage BI templates, but maybe not ActivConnect. So some potential there. But yeah, appreciate the feedback there. So to set the foundation for today, I do want to just briefly discuss, how ActivTrak collects data available for use within your business intelligence BI tools or other tools, which again, we'll talk a little bit more about today. But this may be common knowledge for some of you, by the way, and then new to others. At the base layer here, so the ActivTrak agent is installed directly on the computers that you need to gather data from. This accurately and organically captures all digital activity. We then complement the digital activity with other work data, like calendar information as an example, offline meetings, to provide a more holistic view into the workday and really complete the picture. This data is then ran through our platform against things like benchmarking and goals, pattern matching, to produce actionable insights. Taking all this granular, what do I actually do with it? Data is then consumed either through the application, which is very common, or embedded into existing business apps like Salesforce is an example. You can put the data there. Or for the focus of today in the top right, brought into your business intelligence tools such as, Looker Studio, Power BI, Tableau, the common ones we'll hear today, or even Excel, that is definitely on the board also, wherever your team prefers it ultimately. Here are a few common examples of what this may actually look like across several different use cases. So these are things that we've helped clients create using, our out-of-the-box dashboards, might be embedding some data in there. What we see as an organization really ranges from businesses using our plug and play solutions to get, again, all of that ActivTrak data into the place where they already view reports, already view data, to slight customization, which might just be swapping out the logo or changing verbiage on some of these metrics like productive time, all the way, honestly, to fully customizing using our reports, as our templates as a starting place, but bringing in third-party metrics from other tools and solutions that are impacting how the business is performing, right? And so, in short, some organizations may take only a few metrics from ActivTrak, pull those into existing BI reports. Some will do the opposite and add their third-party data, such as, number of closed tickets is an example we have up here, customer satisfaction scores. They'll bring that in and blend it with our data for a holistic view of the inputs and the outputs. The point is that this data can be consumed where and how preferred so that the right people can take action on the insights, and we make it easy for all different levels of expertise. So this might be slightly intimidating, but you really don't have to be an expert to be getting these reports, creating these reports.
And just to echo Leah's comments there, one of the takeaways from today's session we would like to make you aware is that there's a ton of capabilities. And while we're only going to touch base on 3 use cases that are very turnkey solutions for us today, there's a lot more in our portfolio of BI solutions. So if you don't see what you're looking for today, please ask us. But we wanted to give you a sense of all the various flavors and forms of integrating ActivTrak data with your KPI data or your internal data points.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vic. Okay, when we mention, about our ActivConnect add-on, again, we saw in the poll new verbiage for some of y'all, some are familiar. ActivConnect, which makes all this possible, there are actually a few capabilities that organizations unlock, like actual API access to the raw ActivTrak data in tandem with those pre-built business intelligence BI dashboards. Some organizations will feed our data directly into their own data warehouse or third-party systems or applications. So again, our focus today is BI, but you can do so much with the data and with ActivConnect. If you do go the pre-built BI route, customizing the reports to surface the most important metrics for the viewer, again, change verbiage, maybe move some charts around, etc. It becomes possible and it's easier to do, again, than most people expect. Furthermore, so that's all part of ActivConnect. If you don't want to customize reports yourself, we do have an incredible professional services team here who can absolutely help. We have experience helping organizations with small customizations all the way to doing that blending of the third-party data with ours from really a multitude of systems. And really just making sure that we can get the right metrics to the right people, kind of the theme of today, if you will. Great. All right, so quickly, we've talked a little bit about how it works, the different ways that data can be leveraged, but what is the true benefit of all this? If you are a current ActivTrak customer, you know that we can restrict, metrics and reports to users in the application through built-in role-based access controls, a lot of privacy. But consuming the data in customizable BI templates allows you to hone in further on the specific details that matter the most ultimately. It's common that, within an organization, the metrics of focus are different depending on where you sit in terms of leadership levels. For some businesses, there are special considerations like anonymization, removing any individual data altogether. BI solutions open up this ability, really making sure that it's fine-tuned. We've mentioned it briefly, but being able to blend all of your ActivTrak and input data with performance indicators, which again often vary by department or function. The KPI, the metric from sales, is going to be different than finance. But we all know that the pain of having to go to 3 or 4 different systems to get the full picture. Having multiple data sets in a single place creates a one-stop shop for your managers and leaders who need to take action. Last but certainly not least, BI reports can typically be automated and then again sent to the right people at the right cadence. One less thing they have to log into. Just goes right to their email. Always nice.
So something else to highlight here is whether your needs are regarding to restricting data, ensuring that only specific data points are available to your leaders on those data consumers, or building automation. If you don't know where to start, let us know, because this is where, as Leah mentioned, we have the expertise. We've done this, thousands of times with our client base, so we can guide you in the best way possible to get exactly the data that you need and build the logics, right, that support your business requirements.
Absolutely. All right, before we hop into the demo real quick, I do want to show you where you can gain access to the dashboards, the template downloads. So some of which, again, I'm about to show you, but they're even more available. So please feel free to follow along through your own account if you can, if you have ActivTrak pulled up ready to go. In your ActivTrak web application, you're going to use that left-hand menu to navigate to API and integrations, kind of towards the middle bottom, and then ActivConnect API. You will typically need to be an administrator to access this section in your dashboard. So if you're in there right now and it's just missing, let your internal ActivTrak admin know. They should be able to help you out there. It's usually just a permissions thing. Here, though, in this section, you can pick the desired BI solution by title. So whether it is the out-of-the-box customizable reports up top, headcount planning, financial loss, which we'll cover, anything that you're looking for in there. On each dashboard, there are options to download the template through Power BI, Looker Studio, or Tableau, your preference. Detailed and thorough setup guides are also listed under each BI option as the install guide there. So Power BI, Tableau, etc. These are step-by-step and extremely helpful. Should you still need a little help getting the dashboard downloaded and set up, data connected, anything like that, our wonderful support team is available to assist. But I do have a lot of confidence in those setup guides. Again, I've assisted clients who just gained access to Power BI and were tasked with setting this up, and they were able to do it no problem. All right, we have one more poll for y'all before I hop into the demo. Just wanted to understand, especially as we really dive in, we start talking about it, how comfortable are y'all with BI solutions? Might be something you use often, have heard of it, could do some things, or just not even comfortable at all. If y'all could take a minute and just let us know. I'll give that maybe 10, 15 seconds.
And you know what, Leah, while everyone is responding to that, and everyone, thanks again so much for chiming in there, we do have a question I think we could answer right now. So one person who's on said, hey, when thinking about connecting systems and getting better data, one item I'm generally adjusting for in Excel is applying employee PTO schedules to not skew their data. And is there a connection with rippling? Or any of those other types of tools?
Yeah, so I will say there, and Vic, if you want to add color, but we do have folks who are pulling in that data today to their BI tool. It really just matters on how the data can be extracted from your HRIS system in this case. Alternatively, I will say we are currently in beta with PTO integrations ourselves. So being able to just pull those in natively through quite a few different systems. So that's coming, but in short, people are doing that already. Just depends on what could be extracted. Typically, I see it through like an API or a CSV. Vic, anything to add on that one?
No, I think you're spot on, Leah. It's for those who, if you, the easiest path is if you are already reporting on some of those PTO numbers, it's very easy to bring that into these BI solutions and marry that data with or ActivTrak data, so you can look at those numbers. As Leah mentioned, we're also developing direct HRIS integrations into our product. So like Workday and ADP and some others that are designed to simplify that approach of getting that data, that PTO data from the systems and socialize that through our systems. So two different paths. One that is BI driven, you can do that today. And if for some reason the HRS system that you have is not within our turnkey integrations that we're working on, this is where BI can also facilitate those integrations.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, great. So we're going to check the results here real quick. Oh, excellent. Okay, great. So most of us are either very comfortable or middle of the road, some not comfortable at all. Again, totally fine. Even everything I'm about to show you today for all levels here, something you should be able to do, which is exciting. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and share my screen and I'll pop into the demo. I'm going to move a little quickly just to be respectful of everyone's time here today. I know we have about 9 minutes. Great. So for our demonstration today, so we're starting with one of our newer, most popular reports. It is the Executive Summary of Financial Loss. Ultimately, companies spend a significant amount of money on labor costs, no surprise there. Unfortunately, 20 to 30% of the workforce capacity is wasted, costing organizations millions roughly every year. This dashboard here was designed to help executives quantify untapped workforce capacity in financial terms, helping them identify cost-saving opportunities and optimize resource allocation really across the organization. Let me show you how this works. The financial loss dashboard here measures the productive time for each employee and compares them versus their goal for that specific team or department, right? The information there will help then identify the utilization gaps, the number of individuals, the percent of the entire team that we're looking at here, and then ultimately how that translates to the business level up top to help quantify the FTEs. Those gaps that they represent are really just the unused capacity, right? So with this, you actually have the ability to apply annual salaries per each department or business level in this dashboard, ensuring that when we're looking at these values here, they're actually true and appropriate for your organization. The business units as well, when we're looking at this dashboard, they correspond to groups in ActivTrak. And so something to think about, maybe adding in your top level groups if you're currently doing it only by like manager function, but looking at this dashboard as a whole. If the leader of our sales team here, as an example, going to this team, put in a request for more headcount, I would have the data to say, hey, we actually have an opportunity to increase the use of the individuals that we have today, maximize the individuals that are on our current payroll before incurring the cost of new hires yet, right? We're not going to go down that path quite yet. This data here, especially at a high level, is the piece that organizations are missing today, which is driving the overspending on labor cost. one of the most highly requested views and dashboards that we had. And this data is actually sliced down here on the left by location as well. So remote office, the office remote days, to provide high level insight into whether one environment or working location impacts productivity more than the others. A lot of organizations are coming to us right now with, mixed opinions within their leadership on whether employees should come back in the office or not. So having data around, where do we actually see the most unused capacity, unmaximized resources, can help inform kind of the next steps on, or potentially mold some thoughts on that, do our deeper digging there. Excellent. Within this sales function that I'm clicked into as well, there are multiple people averaging less than 6 hours a day within, this team. There's even somebody putting in less than 5 hours a day. And so this is where I could go back to that sales leader, make sure that they're aware of this untapped capacity, and then hold them accountable for addressing it, making sure that we can run a more efficient organization over time. With that, of course, trend analysis is available to understand, whether individuals have been consistently underutilized. So has the leader or manager addressed the issue? They were aware. Here we actually have 2 people who have been underutilized for more than 8 months. Which is honestly unacceptable personally. Either their team goal needs to be reevaluated, right? Maybe we have our goals incorrect, or the productivity levels actually addressed within these individuals. Up top, last little piece of this. So trend analysis is also present for month over month. As we identify this unused capacity, we're making corrections within the organization, the department. We aim to see the number of people below their goals, and then this unused capacity FTE, full-time equivalent percentage, dropping over time, right? So this view right here, November to January, excellent, what we hope to continue to see. Great. Okay. For the next report here, again, just being mindful of time, so moving a little quickly. This was another highly requested one, schedule adherence. So here in this view, managers specifically to start, but we are taking the organic actual productivity data from ActivTrak and then slicing it through scheduled parameters. So you have these filters here up top. And so here I'm looking at an 8 to 5, but very simple to just type in a new value. It recalculates everything in real time here. And so I can make sure that the schedule is appropriate. Ultimately, organizations struggle with managing employee accountability across the different work models and locations. We deal with a lot of folks who are international. Some are just completely fully remote. They, again, work in different countries. They work overseas. And then manual time can often be skewed. We have heard of folks, clocking in and out from their phones, or clocking in and out as expected, but without putting in the full effort or time expectation for the day. And so this makes sure that we have all the right data sets here. What was the expectation? What did they actually do that day? When did they start? And so it allows organizations to have more accurate visibility into adherence, which helps us just make sure that employees are maintaining compliance with company policies, and then in some instances, even labor laws also. So for my sales team here, quick example over a specific week here, all the filters are built in on these reports, by the way, which is excellent. Only 1 person adhered to the schedule, okay. 8 out of 9 of my employees were late to that 8 a.m. start at least once during the time period. And then of course, 4 out of the 9 stopped working or departed early before that out time. This here is an hourly team, so higher numbers than I'd like to see. It definitely has my attention, of course, but we can get down to the details down here to identify, where exactly my coaching or correction opportunities exist. And so just taking Ellie as an example, for this week, she was late to her shift 5 out of 5 worked days, and not by a few minutes. She averaged, 57 minutes late to those shifts.
And Leah, I just wanted to add something here because I know that I believe there's actually a question about what happens if the employee is actually on vacation and not necessarily, underutilized. We take into account all of the other controls that are built into ActivTrak to remove outliers. So, for example, there's got to be data for that employee. You have to meet the minimum threshold to what a workday is considered, and those are all configurable parameters that you have. So if I'm working 30 minutes on a Saturday night, that doesn't put me on their underutilized, list because, the expectation is that 8 hours a day type situation. So all of those items are configured within product, and you inherit that capability in here for much cleaner and accurate data.
Yeah, great call out. Thank you. I do understand that we are right at time. I do want to briefly show you guys just the last report that we had planned for today. It does pivot to a different type of cost saving opportunity that we're seeing our organizations benefit from, and that's with their technology. So the technology saving opportunity optimization dashboard here does deliver insights to maximize your software investments and help eliminate waste. And so by analyzing the actual usage here across your organization, this solution helps identify where we have underutilized licenses. It reveals adoption trends, especially as we see people continue to invest heavily in technology, especially to support hybrid remote work. Really highlights just the optimization opportunities that translate to cost savings. And so much like the financial loss dashboard we first saw, organizations can apply their actual cost per tool against usage data to realize the true cost of ownership and the actual potential savings here. So largest saving opportunities at top will be presented. It looks like we have about 30K currently in unused Zendesk licenses. And then down below, you can get a deeper look into that. And so we pay for 27 licenses. That's just data I applied, but only 10 people are actually using it over, 6-month window here. And then even while Slack doesn't have as substantial of a number in savings, we purchased 80 licenses and 11 people are using them. We definitely have opportunities. Do they truly need these licenses? Or, is it actually extra communication or guidance that we can provide? Hey, reminder, this is what we use, especially if you're transitioning your tools for that deeper, is it just people aren't using it? Do they not know how? There's a different type of view that actually hones in on the individuals per each tool. So here I'm actually focused on Zendesk. So here, as an example, Maggie, Justin, and Daniel up top, this is their day since they've actually been logged into it, 64, 76. And then the duration as well. So this is going to be a key metric alongside with, did they just log in? Great. But if somebody's logging in and they're averaging, 5 minutes a month, cool, they're logging in, but they don't actually need that license. And so all in all, this helps me understand, again, I can get rid of these licenses right away. For those who are logging in and not using it, is it additional training communication that they need? Ultimately, altogether, this is going to help enable that decision making, right? Taking data to negotiate with your vendors, right size your applications, identify the adoption issues, and really just ultimately ensure, again, we're investing in this technology. Is it being put to use?
That's right. And I thank you all for sticking around a little longer. I think we beat a record on how many BI solutions we can demonstrate in under 10 minutes. So appreciate the collaboration there. This last report that Leah mentioned is one of those easiest reports where, we're all trying to do more with less, right? In today's economy, trying to find those saving opportunities. So something that you can really easily look into our data, apply your licensing data, and then be able to identify those saving opportunities very quick, in quick and simple way. So we would love to show you more, but I know we need to wrap up. So Megan, back to you.
Yes, thank you so much. And as you saw, we just flipped through a few slides. We do have slides on each of those templates that Leah just walked through from a demo standpoint, which you can then again check check out the recording for the replay on that, but we also do have those slides on there so that you can go back for, just kind of handy reference on those. Before we jump into, I know we are over a little bit, but anybody who wants to stay on for another minute or two to answer questions, that would be great. We did have a couple. I did want to pop up one last poll. I know that a lot of this was new for folks. And so I do want to make sure that, I'm just curious, how interested, was this interesting to you? I saw some thumbs up, which thank you so much for, giving those to us throughout the presentation. And it seems like people are interested in this. So would love to just pop up one last poll just for us. Are you interested in this? And maybe you want us to follow up with you so you can really explore adding this into your account. Are you interested, but you just want to go check it out on your own? And that's totally fine. And then, maybe we just, didn't quite convince you that this is something that is really going to be helpful for your organization. And this was maybe just an information session for you. So just let us know that. And with that, we'll go ahead and leave that up while I go and pull up a couple questions. So one question was just verifying, because I know we mentioned different tools in here. Can we pipe it into a Google spreadsheet?
The short answer is yes. We are actually in the Google Cloud, so that's where our technology sits. So Google Sheets it's a very common solution that we use in addition to Excel.
Okay, great. Okay, and then we also had a question around: could they pipe data for old users into like a Tableau or another tool so that they can kind of keep that as an archive, or always kind of have that as a record in their own reporting tools, and then remove them from ActivTrak? Is that something, one, they can do, and two, do you see customers doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the benefits of, and Leah mentioned this early in the conversation, is the ability to extract and automate data extraction to your data warehouse and other storage locations. So by doing that, you have the ability to archive the data, retain it for as long as you need to, and then that facilitates your ability to also retire those, delete those users, retire those licenses from the platform.
Okay. All right. One last question. How often is this data refreshed?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So there are two different types there. And so the data coming into the BI tool through the BigQuery connection is updated. Vic, oh my gosh, it's every 12 hours, right?
Yeah, no. So we have two components on this API. So the BI, the most common solution, which is what we show you today for BI, that is updated once daily. So you're always going to see the data from the previous day. We also have a live data API. So if your project requires for you to query this data within the day, we have that capability and give you almost near real time data outputs, two different venues, but in also different intervals on refresh rates.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that takes us through our core questions here. And if for some reason we did not get to a question, we will make sure that we share it with your account team, and they will reply back to you, make sure you get your question answered. So thanks to everyone for joining us. Really happy to see a lot of repeat people coming back, and really good to see some new folks. And thanks again to Leah and to Vic for taking us through this content. And again, let us know if you have questions, and hope to see you at the next one.
Thank y'all.
So.